Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. So we usually like to start with the party who brought the complaint.
Yeah, that's me. So last January, at the very last minute, I got a job here in New York, and so I decided to move here. I only had like about a 3 months heads up.
So what was your time frame exactly for being in the city, and how long had you been here, and how long do you plan on staying?
Yeah, so I guess I got the job about 3 months before I had to start,
Okay.
and that was last January, and I'd been in the city for a month. I'd been staying with friends, and it was time to get a place of my own, and so my friends recommended I look on Craigslist, which I was a little bit nervous about, but I went on there and I was able to find Angela's spare room, so we signed a contract with a date.
When you say a contract, what exactly do you mean?
Like a lease, a sublease. I mean,
okay.
you're like a lawyer, right? You know, so.
Okay.
I mean, I assume maybe you haven't taken this class yet or something, but it was like basic lease with a date that Angela drafted up and gave to me.
I didn't draft the contract. It was just the contract that my landlord gave me to give to you.
Oh, okay. So in the contract there were provisions on what he should do and what he shouldn't do, or what?
Yeah, just like the basic stuff you would expect, like about
Sorry,
the room and how much he was paying, and.
I thought I was supposed to like tell my side of things.
Sorry. Yeah.
Question.
Sorry, you can tell your side. So, where exactly is the apartment situated?
It was up in Washington Heights, not so far from here, and so Angela had a spare room that so that we said that I would have the spare room in the apartment.
Okay, so the contract said that there should be a room that there would be a room that you would take, or.
I don't know if the contract specified which room, but that's not really the point here. I don't think.
Okay.
If the contract didn't mention a room, then how did you know you were getting a room? Like, so stupid.
You see, she keeps just insulting me, and it's.
I mean, as a commentary on your intellect and insult.
Yeah, that's obviously an insult.
Hi, Coach. I didn't know you were here.
So, how do you think it's going?
I think it's going quite well. I think everyone's sharing their opinions and sharing their stories, and I think the process is moving along quite well.
Yeah, and I hear you asking a lot of questions, which is impressive. It's a difficult skill to master and an integral part of mediating. So you're doing a great job on that front.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you remember during training we talked about the difference between open-ended questions and closed questions?
Yes, I do. I know that I asked a few open-ended questions and then, followed up with some narrowing questions. So what was your time frame exactly for being in the city, and how long had you been here, and how long do you plan on staying?
Yeah, so I guess
I wasn't quite sure if he understood my open-ended question very well, but it was mainly because I was anxious about that. I just wanted to make sure I was getting my point across.
Yeah, so see that first question about the time frame, that's a great open-ended question, and it will let you get a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then, and so it's sort of about, like, you asked that question, you thought of that question, and then trusting yourself to let that question have room to be answered.
Yeah.
And then sort of when you follow up with closed questions, do you notice anything about closed questions?
Yeah, I noticed that at some point when I asked him a closed question, I got a very factual, brief answer. And so the contract said that there should be a room, that there would be a room that you would take, or.
I don't know if the contract specified which room, but that's not really the point here. I don't think.
Okay. That's not really what I was going for. So it seems like when I ask closed questions, I don't really get a full explanation of what the party wants to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then backtracking a little bit to the opening statement, have you given any thought to the timing of questions during that?
Well, I asked him a few questions during the opening statement just because I wanted to help him get his story along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you think that he was receptive to that help?
I mean, I know he got a little frustrated when the other party, Angela, was asking him questions during his opening statement, but I think he found my questions quite helpful.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's look.
Okay.
The date that Angela drafted up and gave to me.
I didn't draft the contract. It was just the contract that my landlord gave me to give to you.
Oh, okay. So in the contract there were provisions on what he should do and what he shouldn't do, or what.
Yeah, just like the basic stuff you would expect, like about
Sorry,
the room and how much he was paying, and.
I thought I was supposed to like tell my side of things.
Sorry. Yeah.
Question.
Oh, I didn't realize that he found my questions so disruptive. I thought I was helping him, get his story along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what do you think the purpose is of the opening statement?
I think the purpose is to actually have the parties get their story heard, so an opportunity for them to tell their story and have the other party and the mediator hear them. So I probably should have waited until the end of the opening statement to ask my questions.
Right, yeah, and for everything we've been talking about today, with the open-ended questions and the opening statement, the purpose of them is to allow the parties the chance to tell their story and for us to be able to listen.
Yeah. Thank you both so much for introducing yourself. It's a pleasure to meet the both of you. We usually like to start with the party that brought the complaint, and
yeah, that's me.
Okay.
I guess I could share a little bit about what unfortunately brought us here. Last January, I got a last-minute job offer here in New York. I got it. It was only about 3 months from when I got the offer to when the job started, and so I had to pack up very quickly and move here. So I came here. I guess it was early April from abroad, and I didn't have a place to stay yet. So I was staying with some of my friends.
Who just moves to a new country without any plans first? Like that.
And if you have any comments, you could just write it down, and then we'll address it later. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you see a little bit of what I'm dealing with. So, I like I was saying, I guess I was here for 3 or 4 months. I was staying with friends. Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I just have a quick question about the time frame, your time frame for moving to New York.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was 3 months, and so it was a very stressful move. I visited New York before, but I never lived here, and obviously it's a very exciting place, but it's also very challenging to live here. And I had some friends here, but it was really scary to pack up all my things and decide to move to a new place and a new country on such a short time frame, like you said. And so now everything's settled down a little bit, but at that time it was still very new and scary to live here, and trying to get my own apartment was really important for helping me settle down.
Yeah. And could you tell us about the decision process for choosing a roommate?
Yeah, I've had this apartment for a while, and I realized.
Thank you so much for introducing yourselves.
I'm still in it, hold on.
Okay, you can leave it.
Okay. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. So we usually like to start with the party that brought the complaint, and
yeah, why is there someone hiding in the corner?
Thanks, Vlad.
Sorry, I'll be serious.
Vlad has a question.
Fine. We usually like to start with the party that brought the complaint.
This is not bad.
Sorry.
Okay.
She makes me laugh.
Okay.
They also can hear you laughing, even if they can't see you. She's like, if I just laugh in the corner, it won't affect the video.
Okay.
I think it's good because we only sorry. It was a mix between show and see. I didn't know what verb to choose because I just.
Alright,
You think this is funny?
The hard part is.
Why do you think this is funny?
Okay, we're filming our action shots after. It's our reward for getting through the part that matters.
We need to make it through, and I don't think we can.
It's
with
me.
Kristen sitting there.
It's me,
Vlad. Yes.
I think we had the water coming up in the screen from the
Oh,
water.
yeah.
Let's try that.
You wanna be like, shut up,
It's
throw
up.
water
Yeah.
at me?
Sean.
We're good.
Oh, you can do it if you want.
It's okay, I'll just pretend to strangle you. That'll be sufficient anger.
Okay, how
It's
you
You're
gonna
on.
No, you should just go.
Okay, fine.
Like the Sims. you know?
Okay.
Like this, yeah. Do it
So
like
we
The
should,
Sims.
do you want to do a
Wait,
couple
what?
action shots and then I'll do a couple action shots?
The game.
And I'll
the
very
computer game,
confused.
you know?
Yeah, what about it? Where you put the people in the
But
pool
they're like,
and you take out the ladder?
like this. It's true, no?
Just do a few action shots and then I'll copy you.
Okay.
You never.
But I think it's better if I just like don't react.
I did.
Oh, I was gonna do one of these things.
Like-
Where you like slide everything
Ah!
off.
Was that good?
That was good.
What are you gonna strangle me now?
Oh, is that about?
That's when I see that exists.
Alright, sorry guys, let me finish this.
I didn't do that as well.
No. I think you.
Oh,